Have you ever felt trapped by circumstances? Like everything around you is conspiring to make you lose control? While many of us fall into this trap, there is a way of thinking that allows us to reclaim our personal power, an approach that teaches us to live with serenity, regardless of what's happening around us. This mindset comes from Stoicism, a practical philosophy that has transformed the lives of leaders, philosophers, and warriors for over 2,000 years. Today, we're going to explore in depth how thinking like a Stoic can change your life, giving you tools to face adversity, master your emotions, and find a higher purpose. Stoicism originated in ancient Greece, but it reached its peak in Rome with figures like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. While some may consider it an austere or rigid philosophy, Stoicism is actually a guide to living fully and authentically. Instead of offering an escape from life's difficulties, Stoicism prepares us to face them with a clear mind and a brave heart. It's not about eliminating our emotions, but understanding them, controlling them, and most importantly, not letting them control us. For Stoics, everything begins with a fundamental distinction: what is within our control and what is not. This seemingly simple principle has the power to radically transform our relationship with the world. Every day, we encounter situations that cause frustration, anxiety, or anger. However, most of these emotions stem from our resistance to accepting what we cannot change. Heavy traffic, bad weather, the decisions of others. These are all variables beyond our control. The Stoics teach that we should focus our energy solely on what we can influence: our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes. Think for a moment about a recent situation that made you angry. Maybe someone interrupted you at work, or you lost something important. Most of us would react with irritation, but according to Stoicism, that reaction only worsens the situation. Epictetus, a slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught us that it is not the events themselves that cause us distress, but our interpretations of them. If we change the way we think about what happens, we can change how we feel. When faced with a situation that causes discomfort, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, then worrying or getting angry only adds unnecessary suffering. Stoicism also teaches us to live in the present. This is a concept that, while seemingly obvious, is incredibly difficult to apply. The human mind has a tendency to cling to the past or project into the future, creating a great deal of unnecessary anguish. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Often, we anticipate the worst or relive past mistakes, trapping ourselves in a spiral of negative thoughts. But the past is behind us, and the future is uncertain. The only thing we truly have is the present moment. By training your mind to focus on the here and now, you can free up a significant amount of mental and emotional energy that would otherwise be wasted on useless worries. A key exercise in Stoicism is prosoke, the practice of Stoic mindfulness. It involves being fully present in each moment, observing our own reactions and thoughts without being swept away by them. Imagine you're in a tense work meeting or arguing with a loved one. Instead of reacting immediately, practice a brief pause. Notice your breath, your thoughts, and emotions, and ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? This simple practice can prevent you from acting impulsively and instead allows you to respond with calmness and clarity. Another profound concept that Stoicism offers us is negative visualization or premeditatio malorum. At first, it may sound like a pessimistic technique, but its purpose is quite the opposite: to strengthen your mental resilience in the face of potential adversities. The Stoics believed that by imagining what could go wrong, you prepare yourself to face those challenges with equanimity when they arise. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of Stoicism's key figures, regularly practiced this visualization. Before starting his day, he would meditate on the possible setbacks he might face. A day filled with difficult meetings, complex decisions, personal conflicts. By doing this, he strengthened his mind and was neither surprised nor overwhelmed by the obstacles that came his way. This technique is particularly useful in our modern lives. Think of a situation that worries you, perhaps an important work project, an uncomfortable conversation, or an upcoming exam. Instead of letting anxiety take over, spend a few minutes visualizing the worst possible scenario. Then, imagine how you could respond calmly and rationally. By practicing this regularly, you'll realize that very few things are as terrible as they seem in our imagination. And when problems do arise, you'll already be mentally prepared to face them without losing your composure. Stoicism also teaches us to accept the impermanence of life. Memento Mori, or remember that you will die, is one of the most profound and transformative practices of this philosophy. Although it may seem grim, this reflection is not meant to depress us but to inspire us to live with greater intention and purpose. By remembering our own mortality, we can free ourselves from attachment to trivial things and focus on what truly matters. How many times have you worried about insignificant things, like a minor argument or an unimportant criticism? By recalling how short life is, those concerns fade away. What remains is the urgency to live with virtue, wisdom, and gratitude. Seneca reminded us that time is the most valuable resource we have, and wasting it on worries or distractions is a form of self-sabotage. Memento Mori invites us to ask ourselves, am I using my time meaningfully? Am I investing in relationships, projects, and experiences that truly matter? By constantly keeping our finitude in mind, we can live with greater clarity and purpose. A principle related to this is Amor Fati, or love of fate. For the Stoics, everything that happens in life, whether good or bad, has a purpose. It's not just about passively accepting adversity, but about loving it and seeing it as an opportunity for growth. This idea is profoundly transformative because it frees us from the frustration that arises when things don't go our way. Instead of resisting what we cannot change, the Stoics invite us to embrace our fate with gratitude and seek the lesson in every experience, even in the most painful ones. Every challenge, every failure, every setback is an opportunity to strengthen our mind and character. Imagine you lose a job, or an important relationship comes to an end. Instead of sinking into despair, Stoic thinking invites you to ask, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from it? By adopting this mindset, even the most difficult experiences become a source of strength and resilience. For the Stoics, living in accordance with virtue is the path to true happiness. Virtue, in this context, is not a moralistic concept, but a way of acting in alignment with the principles of justice, wisdom, courage, and temperance. The Stoics believed that by living according to these values, we could achieve a state of inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. Wealth, power, or pleasure are fleeting and can disappear at any moment. However, virtue is something that is always within our control and provides us with lasting satisfaction. In your daily life, this means making decisions based on what is right, not what is easier or more pleasurable. If you face a difficult situation at work, act with integrity, even if it means taking the more complicated path. If you are confronted with a personal decision, choose what aligns with your principles, not what brings instant gratification. By living this way, you will feel more at peace with yourself and with the world, regardless of external circumstances. Finally, the Stoics teach us the importance of daily self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius, in his famous Meditations, practiced this exercise every night, reviewing his thoughts and actions of the day. He didn't do it to punish or criticize himself, but to learn and improve. This practice is a powerful tool for personal growth. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on how you managed your emotions, how you faced challenges, and whether you acted according to your principles. Were there moments when you lost your patience? Or situations where you could have been braver or more compassionate? This exercise will allow you to gradually improve your way of thinking and acting, bringing you closer to Stoic serenity. Thinking like a Stoic is not easy, but it is not impossible either. It is a process that requires practice and dedication, but it offers invaluable rewards. By applying Stoic principles in your life, you will discover that you can face challenges with a clear mind, a strong will, and a peaceful heart. We will stop being victims of circumstances and become the masters of our own lives.